Welcome to your doom.
Hey everybody, this is Trey from NintenDomain. I know everybody's excited for this Halloween coming up, so I want to show you a list of the best Halloween games to play on your Nintendo Switch. If you want to get into the mood, play these games. I got a top 5 here. There's also going to be a 6th runner-up, so let's get to that right now. Alright, first up is Vaccine. Vaccine is an independent game by people who are very inspired by the original Resident Evil. You start off as a man or a woman, and you basically, as you can see here, your friend has been infected by the virus. You have to find the vaccine within the time, and it's a procedurally generated thing where you start off in the same room every time, but every time you open that door, you'll enter into a different randomized room of the mansion, and it basically feels a lot like the original Resident Evil. And you basically, you get a knife at the very beginning at the edge of that bed there, and then you continue on through the mansion, and you'll be able to pick up other stuff like guns and such, and you'll find different areas and clues to whatever's gonna help you get through it. You'll get to find guns and keys and stuff to help you advance, and you can kill the zombies as you go. But it feels very, very much like the original. For those of you kids who grew up with the PlayStation 1, it feels very much like the original Resident Evil with its low poly graphics and tank-like controls. There's also set camera angles, so it makes you feel very much like those first 3 or 4 Resident Evils. So if you're looking for something to take you back to the past, go for this one. It is cheap too. It's a nice, fun indie game that you can try out. This is the runner-up for the top 5. Yes, number 5 is Darkest Dungeon. Probably the darkest turn-based RPG you will ever play. But look at the artwork. It's dark and beautiful and shows the real gripping tale of these lost souls as they go from dungeon to dungeon to try to win back enough money to rebuild their city. The way it moves, it makes you feel just like you're in a tabletop RPG as it goes through a side-scrolling 2D perspective, but you move across a map in the corner there. You get to fight beast after beast after beast, hoping that your characters live long enough to see the day. And as the darkness creeps in, you have to light torch after torch to keep it away. And you look for different treasures, hoping that the treasures won't drive you insane in some way, which can happen while you're in the dungeon. Each piece of literature you read, each treasure you get, may have the effect of driving you insane in its own way. You will get all these different quirks to your characters, which you can get fixed in therapy or in church or in the bar. You can send them to all different things to try to fix your characters and try to get them into exactly what you want. And then you send them back out on mission after mission to gather enough money to level that stuff up. It's all about recreating your town as you go through and collect artifacts that will give you money in the end. The idea is to go and fight boss after boss, and they get pretty difficult, as you can see here. Just one move might wipe out half your party, and then you go insane. It's basically incredibly difficult, just putting you against wave after wave of bad guy. But hopefully in some way you will prevail and see the light of day. Yes, number 4. My favorite Controidvania, The Mummy Demastered. What more can I say about this? This was number 5 on my list of best games for the Switch last year, but it still delivers all the great Halloween feelings that you need. You basically fight in all different types of graveyards. You'll fight all different monsters. If you're looking for a Metroid style game, or even a Castlevania style game, considering that there are no Castlevania games or Metroid games on the Switch as of right now. This is great. And also, you get to burn zombies and everything. Basically any sort of monster you can imagine is in Mummy Demastered. There are spiders, there are zombies, and it's the best way just to get yourself in the mood for Halloween. You get to traverse through all different types of levels and fight giant dragons as well. It's definitely that bone-chilling type of game that you want to play right now on your Switch. And it's cheap too, since it's an indie. And it's from Way Forward, who's always brought great retro-style games. Check it out for sure. Coming in at number 3, we got the other side of Castlevania on here. For everyone who liked Castlevania before it became part of the Metroidvania or Igavania type stuff, you can play Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. It's very reminiscent of the NES Castlevania, so if you like that old 8-bit style, and the style where you don't power up at all, you get a little bit that will increase your life, but it's nothing compared to Metroidvania. There's no connecting maps, it's just one level after another, and you're going through basically a castle map. There's all these great bosses, like incredible sprites, as you see right here with this train one. And as you progress through the game, you will find new characters to change between. Eventually, you will get 4 different characters in total. As you can see here, you have the 2 most Castlevania-like characters. This purple girl is basically the Whipmaster, and you can change on the fly as well as you go through the maps of the dungeons and the castles here. It even has an old Castlevania map. But yeah, you basically... There's the whipping, it feels very much like the old Castlevania NES games. As you can see that moon back there, it definitely gives you the feeling of a Halloween game. Plus there's all of these excellent bosses in here. Look at this crazy dragon thing. Every level and every boss is super fun, and it's definitely worth checking out. There's even an Alucard looking character on here. He's pretty much Alucard. Look at him. He can even turn into a bat and fly away. Look at that. That's crazy. So, yeah, definitely check out Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. And once again, it's an indie game, so it's not too expensive. But if you want to play the other side of Castlevania and get into those 8-bit games, definitely go for it. And it definitely has that Halloween chilling vibes with all the monsters. Coming in at number 2 is actually 2 games. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and Resident Evil Revelations 2. Now I can include them in as one thing because you could buy them as one pack if you got the physical version. So I'll just include them as one. Anyway, Resident Evil Revelations. The first one was a 3DS game originally, but you get to play as Jill Valentine on a haunted ship. It's like a ship mansion. It's like a mansion, but on a ship. Basically, instead of going super action like the past Resident Evils, like 5 and 6, this one kind of goes back to the basics and makes it more survival horror. So you get a lot more scares and feels more like the original game, even though they finally fixed the camera angles and you can finally move right. And you get to shoot these crazy looking zombies too on a boat. But it's a lot of fun. There's lots of missions. You can change. You'll switch between Claire and Chris as the game goes, and each of the levels are set up like an episode. So at the end there'll be a break, and whenever you start the game, it says previously on Resident Evil. So it's great for playing on the go, and it was a very interesting story, as you can see here with this guy. Great for Halloween.
It's time you learned the truth, Miss Valentine.
As for Resident Evil Revelations 2, it's really nice to see that finally show up on a Nintendo system. Really broke my heart when they decided to release it for everything other than Nintendo when they made the sequel to the original 3DS exclusive game, Resident Evil Revelations 1. This one follows Claire Redfield as she basically gets kidnapped from some party, and She basically has a partner who turns out to be Barry's daughter. You can switch between one and the other and do different things depending on that. There's also a 2-player mode involved, where you can play as both the characters as well. But it's pretty much the same as Revelations, except you're not on a boat this time. But there's still plenty of survival horror fun in this one. And there's also some very epic, dramatic scenes.
もう一度私はモイラ・バート嘘でしょここはどこなの
The game basically takes place between the two main characters. You play as Claire Redfield, or you play as Barry. Remember Barry from the first one? The Jill Sandwich guy? Yeah, he's back. And you basically switch between him and Claire on 2 different time periods. So, you kind of go over a lot of the same territory. And then there's this girl that basically really looks a lot like that girl from Stranger Things. But, I guess that was the time that this game was made, Gotta have that weird girl that gets experimented on. But yeah, you get to explore. I mean, look at how great this looks. And you can play this in portable, of course, because it's on Switch. It does the same thing as the in the Claire room, where you can switch between people. So as you play as a little girl, she can't attack anybody, but she can see all of the monsters through the walls. So that helps you. But yeah, you have a nice fun romp of destroying zombies, and that's definitely what you need for this Halloween season. Yeah, go get 'em, Barry. There's also a cool raid mode on there that you can play online or offline, so if you just want to go around and just kill zombies for high scores, you can do that. And you can even you can customize your characters and play as different characters. Even Wesker's in there. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 are definitely worth the purchase this Halloween if you're looking for something to give you chills. And of course, the number 1 happens to be the same number 1 that I had for last year's top 10 games that aren't Mario or Zelda. Doom. It's the only full-priced game in this list, but it's definitely worth it. And like I said, if you want a game where you can just crush the heads of demons like that guy right there, this is what you got. This is what you want. If you want to feel like the ultimate demon crusher, Doom is that. It's a no-nonsense game that doesn't really has all sorts of satanic ritual stuff like this. Enough to give you nightmares every night. But Doom is a simple game. It's a game that just points you in the right direction and just leads you to horde after horde after horde of demons to destroy and to glory kill. And it's a fabulous experience. I highly recommend this for anybody who wants to feel like they are the ultimate demon slayer this Halloween. It's no-nonsense demon-bashing fun. Enough to freak you out. Look at the way this demon is chasing me here. It's enough to scare you any night. Just scare you straight to the bone is what it would do. That's why it's a perfect Halloween game for you to go around and destroy demons too. So get that candy, get yourself some hot chocolate, sit down and destroy those demons. Rip their heads off. Do those glory kills. With the blaring metal in the background as you destroy the demons, make sure you put on your headphones and pump it up to 11. Or make sure you got a good stereo system and pump it up as well. There's nothing better than hearing metal as you crush those demon heads in your hands. Doom is some of the most fun I've ever had on the go and at home on the Switch. And I highly recommend it as my number 1 game of this top 5 Halloween countdown.
There's so much.
Krang. Hello.
There you have it. There's the top 5 best Halloween games for you to play while you're getting your costume on the Switch. Top 5 Halloween games. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe or look at one of these videos that are going to appear up here and leave me a comment. Let me know what you feel about what I chose in this video, and make sure you check out our podcast at NintenDomainPodcast.com. Thanks for watching.